Welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. My name is Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe. Our objective is to enthuse, inspire, energize, and empower entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs of all stripes here in BW and beyond. We do so by inviting these entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs into our makeshift studio. Sometimes we call them to the restaurant, sometimes we go to our studio, and we ask them to share their experiential knowledge, their experiences and their expertise. And we ask them as many questions as we can, aimed at empowering you also as a viewer. Dumelang, that's Botswana for hi and welcome to Mogobe Nuggets of Wisdom podcast. Mompoloki Lerumo Mogobe is my name. It's always an honor and a privilege to bring you impactful, life-changing business information, something that will enrich you, something that will energize you. And I do this by bringing all kinds of interesting guests. And my guest is Karen Ngada. Ngada is going to be our guest, and we're going to talk about the construction industry. And I don't want to steal her thunder, so let me bring her forward and ask her to introduce herself. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
My name is Shatani Karen Ngada, but most people know me by Karen Ngada. I'm a mom, I'm a business lady, I'm a construction manager by profession. I'm in my late 30s, and I run a company called Bluetape. Bluetape is a construction company that also specializes in concrete waterproofing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's touch on the academic background a little bit. It sounds like it's an area that I'm going to be very fascinated by because I'm into construction myself.
Okay.
So we're going to break that down in a moment. But academics?
Well, I went to Port Elizabeth to study law. That's what I signed up for. And then we did the career guidance, and I leaned towards architecture. And then from architecture, when I went to the studio, I then saw they were doing a lot of models, and they told us that they had sleepless nights doing those the models, the small building models. So then I decided, no, I don't want that. I shifted then to construction management. So I ended up in construction management because I thought when I'm in the built environment in construction management, I can be a developer and I can choose whichever architect I want to use. So I then enrolled for construction management. It's a 5-year degree program up to honors. So yeah, I completed it in 2009.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not typically a profession that women gravitate towards. What is it about you that led you to take that route?
I love challenges. The interesting thing with me is I was a beauty queen and I was a model, so it was really unexpected for me to go that route. So everybody was very surprised by my choice of career, but I think it's the love of building things that are sustainable and being a solution provider that led me to that. And just because, well, I was good at sciences, so I just thought, why not?
Okay.
Yeah.
As part of your training, were there any practical aspect to it?
Yes. When we start with the first year, we are attached to different construction sites. We're involved in the Kucha, the Kucha port that was being built then in Port Elizabeth. We're also attached to multi-residential properties, some skyscrapers in Port Elizabeth. So it was quite intensive practical work. And then on my holidays, I used to volunteer at BHC, Botswana Housing Corporation.
Here in Gabs?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did you ever, when you finished, what happened? When you finished school, got that degree?
So when I finished, we have a support structure from contractors. So one of them is WBHO. I was offered WBHO, which stands for Calcon. I think it's it's Calcon in Botswana, but it's a construction company like, it's Calcon. I think you know Calcon.
Yes,
yes.
Calcon, I know.
They trade as Calcon in Botswana. So I was offered a job. I turned it down. My professor wasn't happy because I was one of the good students in the class. I believed that there were opportunities in Botswana, even though it has taken me years to actually make a footprint or a mark in this industry. But I really felt I needed to give back to my country. So I left South Africa, came to Botswana. I was not ready to start working for government. So I did go to BHC. When I went to BHC, they told me I was overqualified.
For which job? For
as a construction manager, because at that time it's a very rare program. I think that's why we don't even have an association for it, because people don't tend to know where exactly to place us, because we are all rounders. So you start a bit of engineering, civil, structural, mechanical, electrical, and project management and architecture a bit, so quantity surveying. So you are an all-rounder. So when you come, the titles then were for people that their entry level was diploma. So I would then have to be a boss, a senior, but without experience. So that was the challenge. So coming back, I had that tough time trying to place myself, and then I just resorted to opening a brickyard in Francistown.
Wow. How big a brigade? Yeah.
That was a challenge in itself, because one, we didn't have transport, so I was competing with Panda bricks. You can imagine, as a starter, you're competing with Panda bricks that
what delivers. What about the molds? Start from the molds. Where do you get the equipment and the machinery?
We bought the equipment in Block 3 Industrial way back. I don't even think that company is around. But we had, our mold was giving us, I think, roughly 6.5-6-inch bricks. And then we had the mold for stock bricks. So the capacity itself was not enough for people to wait for you to produce maybe 10 pallets when they can just readily get them from Panda, and Panda was delivering. And at that time, I was using the family car, which is a Land Cruiser, so it was just guzzling the fuel. Yeah, so I was just running and bleeding myself.
That's your parents' car?
Yes, that's my parents' car.
So you decided, I want you to cover that thought process. I can't find employment, then let me employ myself. Take us through that experience.
So before I went to, because we had a 2-year program, so you do the undergrad, which is the degree, you become a construction technician, and then the 2 years, it's 1 year industrial attachment, which I did in Botswana. So I was at Time Projects for 3 months, and then I went to Know-How Magnum. We're doing Bamalete Lutheran Hospital. Did the IDCC ward, the TB, the kitchens, and some of their block. So you were working there as a project manager? I was working as a junior project manager.
Oh, I see.
Yes, I refused to be an intern. So I was getting paid because I was actually doing work.
Yes.
So that's the good thing, that they realized that I was adding value to the companies. And then when I left there, I did approach BHC before I went to do my honors now, like the research work. So basically they told me the challenge, and I went up to HR. So I knew there was no work. And then at Time Projects, I was also I didn't have the right experience, because they were looking for a project manager with 5 years experience, and there was no position for me. And then with Know-How Magnum, where I was serving there the longest, he wanted
How long is the longest?
The longest in that 1 year program.
No, I see.
Yes.
Okay.
Because I first started at Time Projects, and then I went to Know-How Magnum. So Time Project was 3 months, and then the rest of the year I was with Know-How Magnum. So my then boss, Mr. Soderstrom, wanted me to do masters in project management, and I was really adamant I didn't want to be a construction technician. So I already knew. So
doing a masters will limit you?
Yes, I wouldn't be a construction manager.
Oh,
I would be a project manager and a construction technician. So I really wanted that title to be called a construction manager.
What's the difference between those two?
The difference is we do project management, but for your honors, you do project management for scale-up contracts and projects. So as a construction technician, you've got limitations to even the civil works that you do. So it's an intensified program. And because of the research work, and my research was defects in construction in Botswana. Yes.
Okay. Now, how long were you at Time Projects, and any memorable achievements there?
I was there for 3 months as an intern. So I just happened to, I've always wanted to work for them.
As a junior project manager?
No, as an intern.
Oh, I see.
As an intern. I was working under Brett Mullen.
Okay.
So
I thought you said you insisted on getting the right title.
No, know-how magnum
Oh,
is where I insisted.
Yeah.
Because at Time Projects, I was given specific tasks to do.
Okay, so you're comfortable with that title?
Yes,
okay.
It was okay. Plus, I was still young. I didn't know like exactly what my worth is. So I settled for it because I had always wanted to work for Time Projects. It was like a dream come true because I'd seen the billboard when they were doing, when they were building Red Square. So I saw that. I was like, because it was the style of building and the project management was more like how South Africans developed their properties. So I wanted something that was similar to what I was already doing in South Africa. Yeah.
And any memorable achievements?
One, the networking, because right now, even as Bluetape, we do work with Time Projects. They still remember me from back then when I was a younger girl, and now two, I was involved with major projects as Brett's assistant. I learned a lot. I learned professional etiquette. I learned how to network and talk to professionals, which was quite key because even when I finished with my honors the last year, I got an award for Best International Student in Professional Practice.
Wow.
Yeah. So that came in very handy.
Any interesting lessons that you picked up that you said, I didn't know this works like this, from your networking and from also developing your skills at that level?
I think one of them was take interest in people, like look beyond just Mr. Mogobe is a law practitioner, is what. Ask him about his interests. What is he interested in? Do we speak about golf? Do we speak about netball? Where do your children go? Like, just interact. There should be more to the project itself, but there are, in each and every project, those people are individuals. Yes, so do show some interest.
Okay.
Yeah. So be conversant with a lot of things that are.
So how many years in total before you started your brick, manufacturing business?
Brick molding. It was immediate. It was immediate. So 2009, when I got the honors, I then went to Francistown and then I opened the brickyard.
Okay, it was even before you went to Time Project?
No, Time Project was the year of the honors.
Oh,
the honors is 2 years.
Oh, I see.
So 1 year industrial attachment, and then the following year is the dissertation part.
No, I'm following. So in other words, you started working for yourself. Was there a company? How did you go about brick molding business?
It was a youth fund. Yes, because the YDF. Initially, I wanted to open a jewelry shop because I'm crafty, and that's one of the things that I do. But my mom couldn't hear of it. It was like, no way, how can I school engineering and then you come and do dibaha? Like a science student, you come and do beads. Who does beads? So I moved away from beads and then said, okay, fine, what can I get for 100,000? Bricks. So I thought, okay, I can do bricks. There wasn't a brick molding company other than Panda at that time. But the moment I got the funding, there was, what is it called? There was another brick molding company that opened.
Another competitor.
Yes. And they were cheaper than Panda, but still delivering, also Bob certified. So it was quite a hectic lesson.
Yeah,
it was quite a hectic period to learn because transport, material, everything, we couldn't compete. So our clients were mainly family members, people that want to, like people that feel sorry for you, they want to do business with you. Yes.
Okay, how long did the molding business last?
It was a struggle as well to get the land because the finance was quite little. To a point where we end up moving from one piece of land that was in phase 4, and then we moved because we had put up a fence, and the fence was stolen, the stuff was stolen, So we had to also shift now and move to the Bochum grounds in Francistown. We moved there to the Bochum grounds. Machinery was also stolen.
Oh, no.
So it tragically ended like that. And it was a frustrating journey. The police never recovered the machinery. So just...
You didn't have security on the site?
There was security.
So you think it was an inside job, maybe?
Sort of.
You don't want to talk about it?
Sort of, yes. Because they were clearing grounds, so somebody was given instructions. It was bolted to the ground. Yeah. So somebody was given instructions to remove everything.
Was the security officer immobilized or rendered unconscious while they were doing that?
No. The Bochum grounds in Francistown, there's one security gate. So there's one, you can't just go in and do whatever you want. Hey. So somebody gave the order, remove everything and take that thing. And it's a big machine, so it's not something that you can just put at the back of your bakkie. You need that.
Yeah, you need a crane.
Not a crane exactly, but a smaller version of a crane.
Yeah.
So you need something quite heavy to lift it up. You can't just dismantle it.
So did you have a suspect as to who could have done that to your business?
Yeah, we did. We did. We followed it up, and it was just, it's politics.
Politics. I think you don't want to talk about it.
Yes.
Now, what is the name of your current business, and what does it do exactly?
The current business is called Bluetape. Yes, we are a construction company. We do your basic construction, building, development, project management, renovations, refurbishments, but one of the things that we specialize on is concrete waterproofing. We do that through a product that we are distributors of in Botswana. It's called Penetron. This product, you use it in water retaining structures, basements, concrete roofs, parking decks. That's where it's mainly utilized. Yeah.
Tell me how the transition from your first business collapsing after that theft to now starting this. Take us through that journey.
Okay. So after the business collapsed in Francistown, I then moved to Gaborone, and I came to work for a real estate company called Brownstone. The director, who is now my mentor, her name is Tebatsole Kalake. So they took me on board. We were working with project developments. It's a real estate company, so leasing, fixing tenants and properties and stuff like that.
So what was your job?
My job, I was helping with the concepts, property development. Yeah.
Design.
Not design. When you've got a piece of land, you approach us. What should I do with this piece of land?
And then you take the person through.
We do the proposal. Yes, and then we also managed property. So we did property management. Leasing, selling, so I would help out with those things.
So you were there for how long?
I was there for a year, and then I approached my mentor and said, I think this is not really what I went to school to do, and I'm not really, making traction. I think maybe I could use my talents and skills better in a construction company. So I went to work for a construction company.
Who's your mentor, by the way?
The
same one. So yes. She understood.
Yes, she understood because she knew my profile. And then she got me an interview with a construction company called Stenmark, also Sealcrete. It was owned by common director but running simultaneously. So when I was in Stenmark, I was a project manager. For Stenmark, and Sealcrete, I was a site agent for this product that I'm supplying now.
Yeah.
Yes. So I worked there for a year. I was promised shares, and then 6 months. So my initial contract was 6 months. After the 6 months, it was a challenging time. My boss was white, and there were things that we didn't see eye to eye on.
Cultural clashes?
Yes, cultural clashes, if I may put it like that. And I had a fear of height. I remember we're doing that building behind you there, the UPSA building, and I had to...
I thought someone in your profession can't afford to have such a fear. Because naturally
I thought so too.
Because naturally you deal with heights.
We deal with heights, but the difference is the way scaffolding is erected in Botswana and the way scaffolding is erected in South Africa is totally different. Yes. Only certain companies and certain projects that insist on safety on site will erect a scaffolding and make sure that it's covered on the side and it's safe. And then with some sites, literally the whole thing is just shaking. It's moving. Yeah, and you can't, as a female, you can't stand there and go, I'm not going to climb that. So with a boss who was always pushing, like, no, go up, and then Kura would just bite the bullet and just go up.
So it wasn't the fear of heights, it's the fear of...
no, it was the fear of heights.
Yeah, but I mean, it's based on the lack of, insufficient backup, or, the scaffolding was not sufficiently secured. They didn't meet all the standards in terms of securing that scaffolding. Yes
and no, because I would say yes and no, because this one here, the building that I'm referring to, it's quite high. I think of the buildings that
7 floors.
Yes, the 7. Yeah, the 8th one. Yes, this one, it's quite high. So in Botswana, that was the highest I've gone. But in South Africa, you would go up Internal. It wouldn't be like on the outside. You see, so that was the difference. So you feel like you're going up the steps, you are inside, but you don't necessarily. But with these ones, you are on the envelope of the building.
So did you have to say to your boss, like, this is too dangerous, I'm not doing it, it's too dangerous?
There's one time I said that and then he chased me away from site.
Just like that?
Yes. So anyway, I was promised shares because, well, other than the fear of height, I was very good. I'm very good at what I do.
Wow.
Yes. So I was offered shares in the company, and then 2 months into it, there's a white national that came in, and then those shares were no longer available. Now they wanted me to work on commission, so they terminated my contract. And then after terminating my contract, I left and I went to Baisago to lecture.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What were you lecturing there?
I was in the real estate department, so I was doing building services and materials, construction modules, basically your construction modules. That's what I lectured on.
All right. And how was that experience?
Very uplifting. I enjoyed it, I think mainly because of the students. And one of the things that I really enjoyed was seeing a Botswana-owned company that was thriving and flourishing and very professional. I think Mr. Khabasian is very professional in how he deals. Yes, he deals with the development, the staff, everything. I think it's international standard, if I may put it that way. It's not just it's proper stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
How long were you there for?
I was there for 2 years.
Okay. And you quit because?
I quit because so when I was working with Stenmark and Silkreet, we happened to do one of Mr. Khabasiani's properties, and Baisago started leaking. So they requested that I give them the contacts. I referred them to my then company because I wasn't doing any waterproofing anymore. I wasn't practicing. And they couldn't help them. And then he had to call me and say, Karen, I know you are good at this thing. I know you've done this. Can you please help us with our building? So that's how I sort of started again. And he was my first client. So he really encouraged me to say, no, reach out. Talk to those people, let's see if you can't, and I sorted out the problem. And then from that, them being my first client, and then and then I got another job to develop a house, and then eventually I said, okay guys, let me leave because there's more money outside.
All right, now I want you to reintroduce your business and explain what it does, with special emphasis on this specialized product.
So our specialized product, it's a cementitious product. It uses crystalline technology. They are crystals that are infused or embedded or mixed into the cement. It just basically looks like cement. But the idea behind it is that when you apply it, mix it with fresh concrete, the crystals lie dormant. So when you are building maybe a basement, you've got a concrete supplier that you are using. We take that product, we mix it in with the concrete that you are being supplied with. If you are mixing it on site, we also mix it in the drums, in the concrete mixers. So we just weigh it out. It's just weighed according to the cement ratio. You apply it, you cure it for 7 days to activate the crystals. The way it now works, the technology behind it is that every time there's water, it crystallizes the water. So it's reactivated when there is presence of moisture or water. Yes.
I've seen some people using bitumen to cover buildings and to take care of leaks. Is this a better method than that? And if so, why?
It's a better method because it doesn't have volatile organic compounds. The world is currently trying to go green, so you are eliminating all those. And what we are also doing is, because I mentioned the admixture part, the fresh concrete, there's also products for existing structures. So currently what we've been doing in the past years is that we have had requests to remove the old system of waterproofing and put in the slurry application.
What's that?
Fix. The slurry now is the cementitious product still the same penetrant product. It's cementitious, you just add water and apply it to the concrete. So Leone, it also grows, the crystals also grow into the concrete. And the fantastic thing about it is that there are products also for the cracks. So you have to address the cracks first. And sometimes you find that when you are building, I think you are familiar with construction.
Yes.
When you are building, you cast the first slab, and maybe you've got beams or a wall. If you're doing a basement, you've got what is called a kicker. So most people don't seal the kicker. And usually water seeps in at the coil joints. So we have time to also address the coil joints.
Okay. Do you see yourself as a manufacturer of this product or just as a distributor?
Manufacturer in the future, yes.
Or in future, but for
yes. For now, we had a battle with South Africa, because South Africa is the one that has been supplying us with this product. But we are currently losing out on a lot of business because with, I don't know if it's just purely COVID or whatever it is, maybe the way they are getting it is more expensive. But the price now, we are not competitive. It is really, really hard. So I end up thinning my margins, of my profit margins, so that we can supply the product. But we did approach the manufacturer directly to supply us, and South Africa wasn't having it. Yes, because we are quite busy when it's good. So there's a great market for it. There are big projects that are coming, but if we are not competitive enough, it's almost threatening to the business.
Okay.
Yes.
But I hope you're not giving up.
No ways, never.
Okay, you're
never.
still in negotiations with them.
We are negotiating, but South Africa is not willing to bend.
Is it up to South Africa?
Yes, because they claim they've got rights to supply Botswana.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
And
but
those are exclusive.
Well, we've never seen the contract, but yes, that's what they're saying.
Yeah. Perhaps
And
you should investigate that part.
We are trying. I think it's a rocky relationship right now, because my approach towards the Americans, they said it wasn't welcomed, but I thought they welcomed it because I was able to guarantee them business. There is work that I know we can get it, but at a certain rate, because the rate that we are at right now is very high. I compared it internationally in terms of what everybody else is supplying in different regions, Australia, India, China, wherever, even parts of Africa.
And they are the best.
No, I mean the same products.
Yeah.
So the margins, we are 200 over those margins.
Percent?
No, pula. Like
Pula,
you compare the pula. So we are 200 more expensive.
Okay.
Yes. And if
I believe if it's a big project, it adds up.
Yes, it does. And most contractors are not willing to go in with a product that's already expensive and they can't put a decent markup over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Suppose there's a young lady there watching you as you get, during this interview, and she's curious. She says it's a she, and she says, "Why should I go into construction management?" What would be your answer?
It's exciting. It's exciting. It's rewarding. It's good to be part of something. I think with the structures, looking around the CBD, there are a lot of structures where I've been involved in. And,
Such
I
as?
know the ABSA building, Prime Plaza 1, Prime Plaza 2. We are still there. What is Zambezi Towers, Cedar Building. Which other one? I think there's one there at the back there, Ministry of Defense, but it was not complete because of some shenanigans as well.
There's always shenanigans.
Shenanigans. People don't like paying.
Yeah.
Yes, and some, but the cry for me is that the product is really good. It works very well, but because of, should I say, corruption, because we get the product specified in the bill of quantities, and then when it comes to the contractors, they always want to settle for equally approved but cheap, inferior product that does not even perform the same way. But because the contractor is in control, then the client, most clients don't know that. It's certain clients that when they know, they will insist, no, we don't want anything else because that product doesn't perform, like that Penetron, for instance.
Okay. Still talking to that young female, what is so exciting about this profession of construction management?
It's multidisciplined. You get an appreciation of the engineering sector. You are involved with electrical supervision, mechanical supervision, developments, the feasibility. You are literally you are a project manager, if I may put it that way. In layman terms, project manager. I think most people understand being a project manager.
Yeah.
So if you like working with different people and you've got an appreciation for growth and providing sustainable solutions to the construction industry, I would recommend that you study construction management. And not only that, I think it opens your mind up. One of the key differences between the engineers, like your conventional civil engineer and structural engineer and other engineers, is that as a construction manager, your key defining thing is bearing in mind the end user, the interaction of the end user with the building. So when you think of Mr. Mogobe wants a building, who is the client? How does the client live? How does the client interact with the building? And it's almost like a gift, if I may put it that way, but it's a skill that you are taught. So even the small man in the corner, you always bear in mind, how does the small man in the corner, when we develop, how do they interact? Like, for instance, when you build in a isolation ward, the things that you specify, the taps, even the taps that you specify, they are not your usual taps. You don't put what you call this, the hand dryer, because of transfer of bacteria. So the stuff like that in the kitchens. So it's almost like you walk the building before it's actually completed.
Yes.
So if you enjoy, I think it's.
Do you even do computer aided, pictures of how the final product is going to look like? I mean, do you do? It's called CAD,
Yes.
Computer aided drafting. Do you get to that level of detail where you now even have that thing in a computer animate? I don't know, simulated format.
Yes, you do. But with me, I've got people that can do that. But yes, you do, because you work with different softwares. So you can literally do the basics. I mean, the basics that you do in architecture is enough for you to know your way around AutoCAD. But there's also ArchiCAD. They are different softwares that you...
You're familiar with all those?
Yes, I'm familiar with,
you have
with them. Yeah.
Okay. Let me also ask you about quantity surveyors. There's a thing called a BOQ.
Yes.
Some people prefer to tag large projects with a BOQ. Others don't bother. What would be your advice? And then in answering that, tell us about your relationship with quantity surveyors.
That's the reason why I think most residential in Botswana have problems, because we don't do the bill of quantities. So ideally, textbook method, which is used by large developers, which is used by big contractors and big contracts. For instance, if you want to develop, you are not going to approach an architect. No, you first approach the likes of project managers, time projects, or you can come to Bluetape and say, this is what I want to do in this piece of land. And then we choose the right architect for you, because architects are different. They've got different styles, they've got different backgrounds. There are some that, residential, this is the guy. Shopping malls, this is the guy. Industrial, this is the guy. Dilapidated buildings, renovating works, restoration, historical buildings, this is the guy. And then from that, you also make a design brief, what we call a design brief. So you take that design brief, between me and you, the project manager, we take it to the architect. So the architect develops within that scope. I get it. And then thereafter, you need to know how much it's going to cost you. Yes. So people that build without the bill of quantities are literally shooting themselves in the foot, because you are just going on thumbsuck. I want to build. And we get that a lot. I want to build. You ask them, okay, where are the drawings? You get the drawings. Can we do a bill of quantities? No, just quote for me. But you can't quote, because with my expertise, I will not just quote. It means I literally have to sit down and take off, measure, and estimate and put figures on it, and that is a bill of quantity. I might not give it to you. Yes, I might not give it to you but still, when I do it, that's something that should be payable. It's a service rendered, because there's no way I'm going to just estimate, unless if you are working with an unprofessional contractor, because there are people that do contractors that have retired as teachers and soldiers and whatever, because they have the money to do it. Yeah. But you cannot build without a bill of quantities.
That's your position.
No, you can't.
And how's your relationship, or your company's relationship, with QSs, quantity surveyors?
It's work that takes time. So when we have a request to quantify work and produce a bill of quantities, there are quantity surveyors that I work with. So I just give them the job, and then they do it, and then I give it to you with a markup, of course.
Of course. Yes. For your troubles, yeah.
Yes, because it's what they do. They use there's a program called WinQS. That's what we used to use. I don't know what they're using now, because it's not something that I used to have WinQS, but I don't have it now because I always outsource the services.
My experience with QSs is with the markups, that they might get the price right, but they always do these huge markups that sometimes distort the price.
What markup as in allowing for
I
inflation?
don't know whether it's a computer program that automatically just raises the markup, whether it is the profit component or whatever. So I found that sometimes there are distortions there when you dig deeper and inquire. What about this item? What about this item? I don't know whether that's been your experience.
I would say not really, but I've come across projects that struggle because the QS was exact, but knew that the project was going to be built in 6 months. So because prices go up, you cannot fix the price. If cement right now costs 50 pula, and then I'm going to use 50 pula as a rate, neglecting that prices might go up in 2 months, as we have seen prices go up constantly all the time. When fuel goes up, everything goes up, and then you don't allow. There must be an amount for escalation, for inflation, in case the price changes. So I know that maybe unless you had said to them, I'm going to build in a year, and then you decide to build in 2 months, maybe.
That could be a problem.
But generally, I know they do allow looking at when you are building.
Okay.
If you are building tomorrow, they know that prices, your quotations, I think the ones that I work with, they're quite good.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is clearly a male-dominated industry. What have been your experiences and challenges associated with being female in a male-dominated industry?
But this industry, from the beginning of time, it wasn't a male thing. When we grew up, our grandmothers are the ones that used to build huts. Do you know that?
They contributed with their husbands.
Yeah. They are the ones that were molding the bricks. But I think the challenge for women is we always failed to evolve and professionalize things. And I don't know how to put it, but in Botswana, when you look at historically, Mosadi is the one that would bring the bricks, gather the boloko. Yes. Kana am Kalanga, so my Botswana. So the cow dung, and then build the bricks and then get the grass and do the thatching. And the husband would help, but would probably be tying for heights and whatever. But the woman would lay. I get it. But we have failed to sort of evolve and get education on it and formalize it. Yes, formalize our skill. Yeah, I think that's where it is lacked. But I think being that I'm a female in a male-dominated industry, one, I don't play golf, where some of these deals are made and interactions and networking. And I can't say I drink, so... I also don't go.
Stereotypes.
Yes, so there's no. I can't go to Sunday football. Probably you have Sunday football. So those opportunities of networking and platforms, most females, when you are in a male-dominated industry, you don't get to be there because of the socialization. But one of the things that is always a challenge. It's a given. I think it's everywhere. It's being hit on. You go with a proposal or a quotation and somebody approaches you and says, can we have dinner? And you start thinking, can I now, if I refuse that dinner, then I don't have a job. So,
but I'm sure you have a way of dealing with that.
Yes, we do. You have to be very smart about it. Like, you have to know how to turn somebody down nicely. And now that I'm saying it, I mean, your platform is has a good followership. So, but you have to turn down people nicely. Yes. And I think it has gotten to a point where I said to someone that I would never mention, I said, how
many times does a person get hit on in an average day?
But if you just walk here, I mean, I don't think it's anything special.
Really?
I think a female just walking from here to the bus rank, somebody must say hi or whatever. But now in a professional setup, like now it's isolating you because you are the person I'm dealing with directly. But what I was saying is we are sort of made to pay twice. You know what I mean? If you're hitting on me, a guy, if I'm a man and you want a job from me, I'm not going to hit on you because you're a man. I get it. Typically, you're not going to give me anything. But if you would probably grease my hand or take me out for lunch and drinks, whatever. But with a female, you want me to give you intimacy, Boban, at another level that I can't.
Sounds terrible.
It is terrible. No, it is terrible, but intimacy puts it mildly.
So how do you normally navigate through all this?
You want me to spill my beans?
Well, you're helping someone. You're helping some of the entrepreneurs out there.
Don't do late night meetings. Don't do evening after work meetings. Try to do lunch. Try to do brunch. Because it's broad daylight, you can always navigate with, I've got another meeting coming after this. Yeah.
Okay. Now, despite the dominance, do you think there's a sense in which excellence and performance at the highest level can earn you some kudos as a woman? Is there some advantages to being a woman?
I don't really think so. Because with the business, how I've structured my business, we get business based on merit. Yeah. I don't go to offer services and go, I'm a female, please hire me and whatever. I tell you, we'll do our best. We are good in doing ABC. We do water retaining structures. These are the projects that we have done, and these are our credentials. Here's our profile. Here's our track record. So for me, because I'm a professional in the industry, I can't say that I use that as a ticket to get a job. I don't use it as a ticket to get a job. Because it has, I don't know who is benefiting from it. Being in the construction industry, I don't know, maybe in some organization, but I know that when they open out a tender and say they want females, yes, your qualification, your ticket is that you are a female, but you are going to be weighted on merit. Like, do you have the right qualifications? Do you have the right experience? Do you have the right capacity and other things like that? And I think as a woman, in whatever industry, if you're going to do business and use your ticket as a female, I don't know what will happen if you meet another female or you are competing with other females and it's a female-dominated industry, but you've always structured your business to say, I'm a female. And then all of a sudden, we are the ones dominating the men. But if you build your company based on merit, you always get work.
That's what I was referring to, excellence. What about entrepreneurship? Isn't there some advantage there in terms of the weighting of tenders where the government, gives preference to women in some tenders?
Frankly, I've never tendered for a government job. It's too frustrating.
Why?
I think the first time around we tried. First thing, I align myself to green building systems, and I use a green product. So we'd be invited to do waterproofing, and the client is not open, or the client or the architect or the engineer, then they are not open to changing the scope because there's a bill of quantity that's already been done. So we prefer private jobs because you get an opportunity to pitch to the client and tell the client or the contractor why they should go with this product, and they also motivate why they choose they prefer our product versus other people's product or the conventional way of waterproofing.
So you wouldn't be aware of those special systems?
Government, no.
Okay.
But we have
Is
worked
this the same with councils? Oh, sorry, I interrupted you. You said you've worked?
We've worked on government projects as subcontractors.
Oh, I see.
Where you have been given a job, you know what we do, and then you subcontract us. So we deal with the main contractor most of the time.
Okay.
And then some of the jobs, you find that it's a waterproofing job, and the grade of company that they want, there's nobody who does that in waterproofing, because waterproofing has two codes, OC and E. And then E, I think it's for jobs that are, is it 2 or 5 million or something like that. But you find that with the work that we do, because we also work in the mines, we work with Botswana, we've worked with Lukara, so they don't require grades. So it's not even a priority for us to keep going to PPADB to upgrade the company.
Oh, I see.
So when I approach you and then you say, what grade are you? And I'm like, I've got work. I've got a proven track record. I've worked with the pipeline. I've worked with the water treatment plants, the water utilities. So, yeah.
Okay. Now, in terms of construction, do you do any for yourself? In other words, do you do what we do for instance, develop for ourselves structures such as these? Or is it something you're aspiring towards?
It's something I'm aspiring towards. And I think when I walked through your doors, I was like, wow. I was still reading before I called. Wow. So I was like, okay, looking at the different things that you do. But no, we are still at small scale. But other than developing your own private residential house. But for us to start building Bluetape offices, we have not reached
headquarters, for instance.
Yes, we haven't reached that point yet.
But you are heading there.
Yes, we are heading there.
Okay.
I believe by next year we should be somewhere there.
Okay. You want us to talk a little bit about support and collaboration with locals.
Yes.
What locals are you collaborating with?
Well, I'm currently collaborating with Botswana Women in Construction organization called Bowiko. Bowiko, it's a platform for women in the built environment, from quant surveyors, engineers, anyone who does anything surrounding the built environment. Even landscapers are there. But it was designed to create a platform for women to network, share opportunities, and see also how to lift up if you need to be empowered to maybe to grow, scale up, like where we are now. We are trying to scale up. So that's my platform as well that I use to for collaboration.
So does that mean you prioritize jobs for women?
In this platform? Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes. So if I have a job, and it's quite interesting, if I have a job like plumbing work, my first priority will be to give it to a female plumber. Yes. If I have an architectural job, priority will be give it to a female architect. Yes.
So unashamedly, you're trying to
we're intentional about
trying to fix the historical wrongs that have taken place. All right. What strategies do you have for growing your business now?
We are currently looking at scaling up to a point where we can set up a plant and do admixtures in Botswana and export to the rest of the continent. So that's something that is in the pipeline. I think it should be mobilizing sometime this year, in a couple of months. Yes, because there's great potential. There's huge market for admixtures, but
admixtures as in
so it's the waterproofing.
Yes,
waterproofing admixtures, because the world now is going green. Even Botswana is going green. I think even you might not necessarily know it, but your architects and engineers, if you build properly, they would know of green products that are in the market, and they would probably specify it. You just enjoy the benefits. So we are more aligned to architects and engineers to push the product across. So we are scaling up, and we are also looking at a partnership with CITF to help their concrete.
That's a government.
Yes, that's a government construction
industry trade something. Yeah.
Trust fund. Huh?
Trust fund.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So they've got what we realized when we were doing work in the mines is that we'd need concrete hands. So concrete hands are the people that we mostly employ that work with concrete. So because it's a requirement, I think in the mines especially, that's a framework of professionalism you can ever get. And we realized that we can actually spread and open more offices around Botswana if we had the right type of people that we're training from grassroots. So taking students from CITF, I would come in and lecture on the concrete.
As interns or as
would develop them to applicators. So the product
apprentices or whatever they call it. I'm trying to
we'll take them as interns and then hopefully to develop them to be applicators. So this product, you cannot just buy it from the shop and just apply it. You need to be trained. So we'll be offering specific training on our products so that if Joanne Mine, for instance, wants to use our products, we have somebody who services Joanne or Joanne in Kanye region. We have applicators in Gaborone. So Bluetape will just mainly be doing the technical support instead of being the applicators as we have traditionally been positioned.
Okay. All right. Let's find out about barriers of entry. Are there any significant barriers of entry? And I'm thinking here generally, not just as a woman, but in the industry in terms of, making sure that your company is out there and they secure, large ticket type jobs, significant jobs.
Yeah. When we started, when I took over the relationship from the previous applicator, where I was offered the shares and then they were taken, the reputation of the product was completely dead. They had messed up that relationship. Things had gone bad. So the strategy was to align ourselves with the engineers, the architects, the people that actually specify, to communicate the value of using the product. Yes, that's why you would find it specified in bill of quantities, because they are the people that understand the product, they are the people that know the value of the product, and also because of the warranty that is there. I would say that our limitation generally with the construction industry playing a major role in the whole value chain of construction is that we heavily rely on South Africa. And when you rely on somebody, you can't control the market that you have. So most of the time you find that we, as in myself, Bluetape, would come and introduce a product in a market. And then once we've introduced a product in the market, to the client, then the client wants to bypass you, go to South Africa and try to buy it cheaper. And where you don't have strong contracts, you sort of tend to get bypassed until the job goes bad, because it's a skilled service. The job goes bad.
Because South Africa can't always bring experts from that side to come and apply the product.
Yes, and certainly to tell you the truth, sometimes you're being supervised by people that you are even overqualified. Yes, because most
so
of them...
it's only when the product goes bad that they come
that you will know that something might have come into your country, into your market. Yes, and it's something that not just suffered by Bluetape, but suffered by other people that are also doing, put it in the supply chain, where you are supplying products. So you find that because our supply is South Africa, the rand and the pula advantage, people tend to now want to buy and save and cut you the middleman, the one who actually introduced the product, the one who has built that relationship. So that is a serious cry for us in the industry, where we get sidelined. And I'm speaking of something that's I'm currently undergoing, where my supplier was now coming to the country, having meetings outside me with my clients, and it's still a battle.
Court, right?
That's just the thing.
Yeah. Or is there any other solution?
That's just the thing, where you don't know where exactly, who exactly can help you with this. So you go to this one, they tell you, oh no, I think check these ones, check competition authority. Okay, no, check our ministry, check our BITC, check our UN. So it's not clearly
from pillar to post.
Yes. So it's something that we are still currently, honestly, to tell you, it's a sore thing. That's why I said earlier, the relationship is a bit rocky. Yes. And I had an incident where my supply came and went to a site that I'm servicing, and the contractor was angry because he was promised something in that conversation and I wasn't even there. So I'm coming in trying to manage that relationship to a point where we said, okay, you know what, we'll offer our service for free. And you can imagine, I've already supplied these people bleeding through the margins, and they've gone.
But you still want to maintain a certain reputation, because you want to continue distributing that product. Yeah.
See, that's
Any chance of you going back to your original product, which is brick molding and supplying?
I think so, but it will be something towards the green building systems. It will be a brick, but a green brick.
How do you get a green brick? What does that look like?
I think this is as good as CNN.
Yeah.
So we are working on something we're working on a green brick. When I have it, I'll come in. When I've finished working on the product, I'll come and share it with you. Yes. Okay.
Because I was going to ask you whether there's going to be an original, uniquely Botswana product that is going to come out of all this that you're working on, even on the cementitious side.
I'm hoping so. Because like I said, I love it because it's challenging. So I'm hoping that it's going to turn out.
So you have a bunch of chemists working on something? Specialists?
Yes. Okay. I've got a lady who's a civil engineer. She does material testing. So that's her job, on a daily basis. She's always testing products. She's always testing things. So it will take some product development takes time. Okay. Because it's also construction. You don't want things falling on people and failing dismally. Yeah. So we are working on the whole. I think the construction waterproofing products as a whole, from paints but green paints, from paints to membranes to different things, different solutions. Because one of the things that this product that I'm currently supplying is limited on, it's specifically for concrete. And in Botswana, we build with a lot of bricks. So you find that if a wall, for instance, is leaking, the solution that we offer from Penetron is not suitable for that. So we have to come up with something that works on a brick as well. So we are trying to come up with solutions that work for our market in Botswana.
Sounds exciting. Now, perseverance is a very important trait. I sometimes call it grit. in dealing with this issue, how can we share like a setback, a massive setback, beyond the theft of the molding that you've suffered, and how you overcame it?
Last year, it's still a sore point. Last year we lost out on a big project, very big project, because of price. Yes, we couldn't. My supplier couldn't go down with a rand, with 1 rand to supply, and I had gone right from 25% to 5%, and the contractor appreciated that. You know what? We can see that you've literally stripped yourself off. You really want the job, and we don't have a problem with your 5%. We understand we are business people, but get your supply to lower. The supply couldn't, and we lost 18 million just like that.
Why couldn't you? What's his explanation?
No, we offer technical support. We are different from our competitors. Blah blah blah. And contractors don't care. Contractors don't care. Contractors
even for
just,
such a large amount.
Yes, and the time they came around, the project was gone. It was gone, like gone.
Meaning your competitors.
The competitors then with the
lesser product.
Unfortunately, this one wasn't even. I can't discredit it.
Okay.
Yes, I can't discredit it and say it's a lesser product, but it proved to be a close equivalent. Yeah, so I couldn't discredit it because I said to them, I looked at the data sheets. I've looked at the projects that they've also done. It's like twins, if I may put it like that, and they end up getting products from South Africa directly. Yes, not even using anyone in Botswana a local for it. So, some of these things, it's
heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking, and mostly because all that money is going out, and that guy is literally delivering products. He hasn't employed anyone here. So
how do you normally deal with such setbacks?
So the way we dealt with it, we made a proposal, sent it to Penetron America, and to say, this is the amount of projects that we've lost out on, including one if also in Moshupa Hospital. This is what we've lost out on, and because of price, and we cannot continue losing out on projects because we work hard. Like Bluetape is the one that markets these products, and you go and talk and motivate and do a presentation. You drive from here to Orapa, you drive from here to all over to just go and pitch to people and convince. If you have to do samples, you apply samples, and that's coming from Bluetape. It's not coming from your supplier. And then I did a chart to say, from the projects that we had in the pipeline, we've only gained 20% of them. 80% we've lost, and the reason is price. Because I also want my business to continue.
They are yet to respond to that.
Well, their response, they sent South Africa to respond, and when they responded, they were so pissed off. I mean, because we, in most seasons, we are leading in terms of sales. So they were not having it. They were angry, but it was just purely business. I don't see why they would be angry. And so there isn't much room to grow with Penetron, so to say. But it's also not something that you can walk away from because you've already done work and you know projects that are coming. But at the same time, you're like, I might still bleed through these projects if my supply is not willing.
It looks like you need a lot of emotional intelligence to work through all this. There's a lot of somersaults and bending your... And you really have to...
But I think...
smart.
Smart and praying as well, because some of these things that they do, you catch them out and you're like, okay, how did this information land on my lap? But I was giving an example during a TVET session that was organized by Bowiko to the mentees, that sometimes when you dig a trench, you are digging, you are inside, you don't see how far and who is watching. So we have been approached by equally competent admixture companies. This is not in America, this is Europe now. They've approached us to say, are you willing to do our product? Are you willing to push our product? You see, and I have tried to like give these guys first priority because I've worked with the product. I'm confident with the product. Like basically my staff is competent with the product. We've got projects to show for it, but there's no flexibility. And here comes somebody who says, no, you know what, can partner, we'll give you the Africa distributor rights. So we are at that moment where you're still saying, let's salvage the relationship, but we shouldn't also kill ourselves.
Yeah. But you're not just going to focus on the cementitious aspect of your business. You're going to continue to develop other project management side in terms of actual physical project management. Are you? Or do you want to stick to a niche?
I've always developed it side by side. The reason why it looks like it's more focused on that is because there isn't much. Like you said, it's a niche market. There isn't much, and it gets you to be in multiple projects at the same time. Like you can be in the CBD and have 5 projects that you are supplying, 5 projects that you are servicing at the same time. And then for refurbishment and renovation work, it's more upmarket because of the clientele that we sort of network with. So they would enlist you to come and renovate a house in Extension 9, maybe the Golf, Pakalani.
What about supervising large projects from start to finish?
That one we did. No, we haven't done supervision of as Bluetape, not as myself, but as Bluetape. Yes.
2 quick questions before we wrap up. One, Bluetape. Why that name? Does it have a special name? How did you come up with it?
My son always asks me, like, Mom, why Bluetape? And the logo, if you're to see the logo has green. There's nothing blue about it. There's nothing blue on it. Blue is for a blue tier, blue chip clients. It shows excellence. It shows merit. And then the tape is from the measuring tape. It shows accuracy. Yes. I remember when early days of starting, I was measuring something by Massa Square, and the way I was holding the tape, one architect, a prominent architect, I won't mention, he called me to say, young lady, the way you hold that tape and the way you measure, because there's a way you measure, even how you measure, your accuracy. It's just amazing. I've never seen a woman hold a tape like that. So he was impressed, and then he said, come and work for me. I said, unfortunately, I just started my company. I cannot work for you. But we do get offers to work with other developers on projects.
So you've answered my question. The second one was, what can we see in the coming years in terms of 5, 10, or even up to 15 years? What can we expect from Bluetape as a brand and yourself as a brand? I assume that the beauty side is no longer there. The modeling is long gone.
No, it's still there. It's there. I do it for fun. Keep his job.
Tell me
I
about
do it
that.
for fun. I used to have a jewelry shop. I've done fashion shows, so I do it for fun. But I do participate in some fashion shows, as and when I get an opportunity.
Still a side gig, sort of.
Yeah. Not really something serious, but it is serious in the sense that you need capital to do it. And I don't want to isolate it and say, let me go and get financing for it. I've always funded it from the pocket. I had a shop in Acacia Mall. It was a jewelry shop. It didn't work out because of the clientele mismatch. I think that's generally... because my clients that buy from me were not the ones that were trafficking to the mall. Yes, so there was a mismatch of that because the clientele that we were promised, the restaurants and everything else that we were promised didn't come. So it meant my client has moved away. Now my client is probably in Moana Park other than Acacia. So there's that part, and I still do it.
You didn't relocate to another mall?
No. Now what we are doing, because being involved in that, I've also had an opportunity to go to New York through BITC, through Agora. So one of the things that I picked from New York, I met a Nigerian lady in New York, another African, and she sort of said to me, whatever jewelry line that you come up with, whatever design, make sure that it cannot be duplicated in China. So people in Europe, people in America, all over the world, they like buying a story. So we have started now manufacturing our own beads. So I make beads that I hand carve.
The very thing that your mom told you not to do.
Yes, it is the very thing that is going to lift me up and make me rich one day. Yes, so we are developing a line of beads for that specifically, and you cannot duplicate it. You cannot, absolutely. So that's one of the things that I learned.
It's a form of diversification, really.
Yes. So instead of just buying ready-made beads like pearls, including these ones that I'm wearing, I made that. So instead of doing that, you now build your own product and say that is strictly from Botswana. There's nobody else.
Come back and talk to us about that. That's a whole story in itself.
Yes, in itself.
Yeah.
You're talking about diversifying. So one of the things that we also realized, and it's a cry from consumers, from clients, potential clients, and clients that we've also missed, those that are doing their residential buildings, is that we professionals, we tend to focus on the commercial side and we neglect them. And that has led to entrance of unskilled labor, helping them, our mates from Zim, that help them to build structures, and then they disappear and they mess up their roofs. And then because they are saying literally, if you market your business, if we know that there's somebody like you there's no way somebody who has common sense would go and hire an incompetent person. It's because you guys are not visible. And I said, yes, guilty as charged. We are not visible because the other thing is it's difficult to get money from Botswana. You build, because when I started, I got banned. I was enlisted by a lady, a Botswana lady who wanted to build a double story. And then, once you've started, now the husband approaches you. No, not like that. The husband approached and say, can I partner and invest in your company? So you are still building, and already they want to buy shares, because they see potential, and then you refuse, and then contract terminated, and you start, and then we went to another one, and the person says, no, I've got 1 million, I want to build. And like, no, 1 million is not enough. We need a BOQ. We do a BOQ, and then you charge them, and then they were like, no, but you have to. So, ethically, when you do business in an ethical way, you cannot cut corners. I will not put or do something inferior or unethical because I want to make a quick buck. That's the difference about building something that you want to build it on excellence and merit. So, one of the things that we're doing, and also because there's unemployment, and through BOICO, the TVET product program, I've met so many skilled bricklayers, so many skilled electrical, like basically the built environment people. And one of the things that we're doing with my mentees that I have now is to develop them to a point where I can outsource bricklaying to them, and they hire other bricklayers. So it's a sub of bricklayers, but it's a business. Instead of just being my employee,
empowering others.
It's a business, and you've got an electrical group, you've got tilers, and so we are now doing residential. We are trying, God help us, we are doing residential, trying because of the cry to say, guys, okay? So we are trying that development sphere. I think it will work out. I believe it will work out.
There are people who are doing it.
Yes. It will work out, and mostly because it has been, like I said, our mates from Zimbabwe are pretty dominant in that area, and the ones that you actually use professionals, it's upmarket property. So that's where you also find us professionals there.
By mates, you just mean untrained people, really. Right? You mean untrained people, isn't it?
Yes. If I put it that way, yes.
Okay, so. Time for you to hit me with a question, but you haven't told me what in 15 years.
15 years, you are looking at us having scaled up, doing business not just in Botswana. We are looking at supplying extending our services to the whole of Africa. Firstly, it is South Africa, Zambia, and Namibia. We've already identified markets. We are building on relationships there and collaboration. So you are seeing in 15 years a giant in the concrete waterproofing industry and construction.
Wow.
Yes.
That's I like that.
And probably I'll end up like Mogobe Incorporated. Yes.
That's encouraging.
Because your portfolio is quite impressive.
Thank you. You have a question?
Yes, I do. I want to know which company you started with first and how you managed to scale up and build and diversify into different
Okay, for
industries.
the second question, you have to buy my book, which is about to be published. But for the first question, I started off as a lawyer, and first I worked for Minchin and Kelly for 4 years. Part of which I went to overseas to do my masters. After that, I started Sohopolo and Mogobe in partnership with the now judge Itumel and Sohopolo.
Okay.
And then after 6 or 7 years, I started Lerumo Mogobe Legal Practitioners.
Okay.
So the law firm was the first business, but it's still operating and it's upstairs.
Okay.
And I've got other partners who are running it day to day.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, in conclusion, look at that camera and leave the viewer with a nice uplifting message as we wrap up. Yeah.
My message would be to entrepreneurs: be brave, show up, be bold, don't quit, and pray a lot.
Wow, that's a powerful message. Where do people reach you? Give them all your contacts, even on social media.
You can find us on our website, www.bluetape.co.bw. We are also reachable on 7504-3869. We're also on Facebook, Bluetape Construction. Yes, Bluetape Construction. I'm not too sure. I'm not the one handling that. Yeah.
You yourself.
Forgive us because mainly our business doesn't come from social media.
Yeah. But do you have a social media presence yourself?
I do. It's Karen Ngada.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank
you.
You did a good job.